Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar this evening on the City of Worcester. First of all, I would like to apologize for that little technical difficulty that I had sharing my screen, but I'm so thankful that you all decided to spend your Sunday evening with us. My name is Liza Goodman. I'm a new admissions counselor in the Office of Admissions here at the College of the Holy Cross. And before we get started on our webinar about Worcester, I did just want to mention a few housekeeping items. We do have closed captioning available, and it's at the bottom of your screen on the right hand side. And also, if you have any questions at all, feel free to put them in the Q&A function in the bottom of the screen as well, and we'll try to answer them during the session. But also, we have some admissions counselors backstage who are answering them as well, typing them for us. So we could just get started. First of all, I want to introduce our two panelists this evening. We have Elena and Michaela. They are both seniors in the class of 2022. Michaela, I think I'm going to start with you, and then I'll also have Elena answer this question as well. I'm curious, you're from the Massachusetts area, but you're not from Worcester specifically, and I'm curious, what about the city of Worcester really excited you about going to college here, and why did you decide to come to college in Worcester?
Yeah, that's a great question. I definitely chose Worcester because I wanted to stay close to home. I love the state of Massachusetts, but I honestly didn't really know much about Worcester before coming to Holy Cross. But when I came to visit, I just loved that it's such an up and coming city. It's like becoming the place that a lot of people want to go to because, I mean, we have our new minor league baseball stadium. There's many colleges in the area. So I feel like it had like a young community, which is what I was looking for. It's just a really diverse and historical city, and I love it's huge. So there's a lot of different opportunities for restaurants or shops or just a chance to volunteer at different sites. So I just thought it had so much potential, and it's a really up and coming city, and so I was excited to explore more of it.
That's great. And Elena, what about you? What about the city of Worcester made you want to come to school here?
Yeah, so pretty similarly to Michaela, definitely I'm also from the Massachusetts area. So I'm from Chelmsford, Mass, which is about 40 to 45 minutes away from Worcester. I really wasn't familiar much with the city either, but kind of doing tours of Holy Cross and always, driving through to visit some of my relatives in Connecticut. I always kind of saw Holy Cross up on the hill and was a little bit familiar with the city. And I was amazed too that Worcester is actually the second largest city in New England with about 175,000 people in that population. And so, it's Boston and Worcester in terms of that size. So that was something that was really great to me. And the fact that there's also, like Michaela was kind of hinting at, 11 other colleges and universities. So very much a young city with, when you go out, whether that to be to a restaurant or shopping center, you're definitely seeing a lot of other young people, which is pretty cool. I also like how on Holy Cross's campus, you don't necessarily feel like you're in a super urban setting. So we are kind of up on the hill, a little bit away in kind of more of a neighborhood residential area, but you know that within a 5-minute drive, you can get to so many different kind of more urban areas in the city. And also it's very easy to get to other parts of New England. So we have our Union Station, so you could take kind of the commuter rail to Boston in under an hour. So I thought that was kind of really unique as well to get to some other major cities in the area.
That's great. That's great. So Elena, I'm going to stick with you for a second. So just paint me a picture. You are a first-year student at Holy Cross. Obviously, most of our first-year students are not able to have cars on our campus. So how did you navigate the city? Like if you had to get more toothpaste or had to get something at Target, your light bulb burnt out or something, how are you getting to Target? How are you getting to Walmart? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah. So at Holy Cross, underclassmen usually wouldn't have a car. So it's usually junior and senior year when you can have a vehicle on campus. But honestly, that wasn't at all a difficulty during my first 2 years. So Holy Cross does a great job of providing free shuttle services to a lot of different areas in Worcester, and that's done through our Student Government Association. So, for example, this SGA group will have shuttles every day of the week to a shopping center called Blackstone Valley, which is in actually in Shrewsbury, which is pretty close to Worcester. So there's like a Target, a movie theater, a Marshalls, a nail salon, different restaurants and things like that. So really kind of anything you would need on a day-to-day basis. Those shuttles, we get emails about how, regular they're offered and all of that. And then in addition, there's also, you can rent a zip car through Holy Cross, which is a nice option if you kind of just want to go yourself. Often too many students might kind of split an Uber together, or if obviously if you know an upperclassman who has a vehicle, that could be a great way to get around. And then also getting to places a little bit further. Like I said, there's the commuter rail through Union Station, which is just like a 5-minute drive, as well as every Friday and Saturday. Holy Cross also offers free shuttles to the city of Boston. So that's a really nice option as well, which made the transition for me a lot easier. And the emails are so frequent and accessible in the terms of how you know where these shuttles are coming to. So it's really great that as a first year student, you can still explore that city.
That's great. Michaela, I'm going to jump to you for a little bit. How often would you say that Holy Cross students go into the city itself in Worcester?
That's a really great question. I would say Holy Cross students go into the city, I think, every single day of the week. And so during the school year, a lot of students volunteer through SPUD, which is the Student Program for Urban Development. It's our community service organization here on campus. And basically you have the opportunity to visit different sites in Worcester and just volunteer and get to know the community and help out basically. And so you can go to Salvation Army, you can go to Rainbow. I know Elena and I both did that as underclassmen. You can do Big Brother Big Sister. So you can do these different community service sites and just to get off campus, get to know the community and its members. And so you can do that. And then on the weekends, I feel like it's pretty frequent. I've taken advantage of going to Birch Tree. They have a shuttle to Birch Tree. It's like this really nice little kind of bakery area. Students will go and study. They have live bands. And so they'll take advantage of that on the weekends. There's shuttles to Polar Park. So when we're able to, when it's baseball season at the beginning and end of our school years, people can go and do that on the weekends. And so it's just, you always have the opportunity to get off campus, whether that be community service or just having that social time with your friends.
That's awesome. I know personally as a resident of Worcester that I really do enjoy Birch Tree Bread Company. Their coffee is second to none in my opinion. But you did mention Polar Park, so I'd love to talk a little bit more about that. Obviously, for those of you who are not familiar, Polar Park did just open. It is our AAA minor league affiliate baseball team, the Woo Sox. It is their home. And I'm curious if either of you have gotten the opportunity to go to a game and what's that been like?
Yes, I have gone to the game. My friends say that is their favorite place on earth. It's so nice because you see a lot of Holy Cross students, you see other college students, recent graduates, just like Worcester community families, and you get a chance. The tickets are super affordable and you can just buy them the day of. I've done that. If on a last minute you're like, I have nothing to do, I'm going to go to a Sunday baseball game, and you get to go and there's all of these local restaurants there. So there's the Wonder Bar for pizza, or Coney Island for hot dogs. My friends love that. And so it's you're supporting local businesses, and you get to watch a really good game of baseball. I mean, a lot of these guys are switching between the major and minor league. So these are like really competitive, interesting games to watch. Even my New York fans love going to Polar Park, because it's just like a great way to get off campus and to just like do something fun with your friends and support local communities and it's like see people of different colleges. So it's really fun.
That's awesome. For Elena, I'm gonna toss this question over to you. I am not probably the most interested in sports, but still Polar Park sounds fascinating. I can't wait to get the opportunity to go and check it out. But I'm curious for some people in the audience who maybe aren't particularly into baseball, such as myself, do you think there are any, concert venues or spaces for the arts in Worcester, and what the type of art scene is like in the city?
Yes, I would say there's definitely such a mix, which I think is another really cool part about the city. Really, regardless of what your interest is, you can definitely find something to do. So just in terms of some of the more, the larger concert venues, we have the DCU Center, which does have some sporting events, but also a lot of concerts and different musical performances there. We also have the Worcester Art Museum, which is a really, really cool spot. As a student, you can get in for free there. And a lot of our arts classes, Montserrat, which is our first year seminar, will utilize that space as kind of a group activity to go to the Worcester Art Museum. Or if you just really enjoy seeing different art, they have all different types of exhibits that they will bring from year to year, which is very cool to see. There's also a lot of smaller theaters in the city. So sometimes our different musical groups on campus might perform at one of those more local venues. And then something that I have done with my friends actually every year at Holy Cross was a art festival called Start on the Street. And so that was honestly one of my favorite experiences. It's a one street on Worcester is entirely blocked off with all different local vendors. And so it's kind of like a giant craft fair. And for someone like me, I love looking at that type of vendor. They would have a lot of food and things like that. It was always a week in September every year. And so that was something I always looked forward to during, unfortunately, the COVID year. That didn't happen, but this past year it did again. So that was really exciting to have that back again. But I definitely think in addition to Fuller Park and some of the more sports venues that are in the city of Worcester, students are definitely taking advantage of the arts as well. And another exciting thing just on our campus is the new Performing Arts Center that's being built right now. So that's planning to open up within the next year. And that will be kind of a state-of-the-art facility on campus where there's going to be a lot of our dance classes, theater, music. It's going to have a 400-seat concert hall in there, a cafe as well. So it's really going to be such an upgrade and a great addition to our campus. So definitely a lot to look forward to in terms of arts and all of that.
Yes, that is very true. There is clearly a lot happening on the Holy Cross campus and also a lot happening in Worcester in terms of opportunities to see performances, opportunities to see sports games, not just the Woo Sox, but also, the Worcester Railers at the DCU Center, our hockey team as well. So there's tons of events happening every single weekend. But I'm going to switch gears for a second here and maybe ask a question that maybe some of our parents in the audience are thinking about right now. And I'm going to ask this to you, Michaela. When you're out and about Worcester in the city, how safe do you feel? Do you feel like it is a safe city for you to navigate on your own?
Yeah, that's a really great question, and definitely like something that needs to be addressed. I definitely feel as safe as I can be being a woman in a major city. And so obviously there's going to be risks. Obviously you need to, be alert and be aware in any city that you're in. But I feel like there's such the way that like Worcester is set up is that there's areas that you can, if you want to stick with your friends and you can navigate that area and just just you can navigate that area and you can obviously watch out for each other and enjoy your time and not feel like afraid. So like for example, Shrewsbury Street, that's a really popular spot that a lot of Holy Cross students and I'm sure other college students in Worcester go to. There's a bunch of restaurants and sometimes people will hop around there, and it's very safe in the sense that it's all lit up. There's constantly cars driving by. You're with your friends and you watch out for each other, and you enjoy your night like any other time that you're in a major city. And so I've never felt unsafe being in Worcester, and I feel that way on campus as well. I know Alena mentions that we are in a major city, but we are secluded. It's a gated community. It's very obvious when you're on campus and when you're not on campus. And so I felt very comfortable walking this campus alone as a small female, just because it is gated and there's rarely anybody, or if ever anybody on campus that isn't invited, doesn't belong, not a student, not an employee. And so I've walked this campus many times alone, at night, during the day, what have you, and go to where I need to be. And there's always campus police and available during orientation. We always get their number. And so I've had this contacted in my phone. And so if you need to contact them, they will be there in under a minute and attend to you and whatever you need, whether that be an emergency or just you just feel like you want a friend, you just want that extra protection. They will be there. And so that's been really beneficial to me. I remember I used that number. I have a kitchen, set off my fire alarm, and I called them and they were there and they shut it off for me to made sure I was safe, nothing was burning down, and they shut it off for me. So it's just, they're very attentive, and I always see them around campus. And so it's just kind of comforting it's like you start to know these cops after being on campus for 4 years, you start to know them by their first name. And so it's just comforting to have that, that like service to you whenever you need it. So, and that extends off campus for the off campus houses with our Blue Light system, which is both on and off campus, which is like across the street from campus where some of the upperclassmen tend to live. So they're always there for you if need be. I personally never had to call them except when I set off my fire alarm cooking. So that's just my personal experience.
Thank you for answering, Michaela. I could certainly relate to that. I probably have set off a few too many smoke alarms in my day, but that's a great transition because obviously a big thing that I think a lot of you are thinking about is what is the food scene like in Worcester? So Elena, I'm going to ask you, what are some of your favorite restaurants? What's the food scene like? And specifically, what's the food scene like in terms for people who might have dietary restrictions, if they're vegan, if they're vegetarian or gluten-free? Do you have any ideas about that?
Yes, so I think whenever people ask about Worcester, whether it be on tours or different things I've done through admissions, I always start off with food. There is so much in terms of going out to eat, and I think among my friends, myself, going out to eat is kind of the most frequent thing I will do in the city. So like Michaela had mentioned, Shrewsbury Street is just like the immediate go-to spot because it's an entire street really lined with all different types of restaurants. So there's a lot of different great Italian pizza spots. Via Volturno are two of the popular options there. There's also a lot of different varieties. So Worcester is a pretty diverse city. So there's a lot of different types of cultures and foods represented, which is also really cool to explore. Also, one of my favorite spots is something called The Fix, which is a really great burger place. Amazing burgers, really good milkshakes as well. So that's a popular spot that I've been to many times, as well as some other like brunch type diner places. Worcester is really known for a lot of its diners. So there's Miss Worcester, which is a diner. There's also Boulevard Diner, which is kind of a cool traditional diner spot that you would think of out of like a movie. There's also a place called Livia's Dish, which has really amazing crepes, which is like my favorite brunch spot. But also kind of to address the dietary restriction aspect, personally, I am not vegan or vegetarian or don't have any, but I have a close friend and so who is vegan and vegetarian and kind of navigates that scene. So through her experiences, I've seen a lot of different bakeries and things like that that might be gluten-free and have really great options. Also, Worcester Public Market is a spot where there's a lot of good new food venues. And there I know that there is a whole bakery that's devoted to being a vegan bakery as well as being gluten-free, which is cool. And Worcester Public Market, for those who aren't familiar, is pretty much kind of like an indoor venue that has all different types of little shops and food spots in there. So there's Asian cuisine in there, there's a pub in there, there's this really great donut spot, there's a boba bubble tea type place. So really kind of any type of food you can think of. And I love to say like I could go to a different restaurant every single time I go out in the city of Worcester and never get bored or run out of options. So I know being pretty close to Worcester, an often thing that will happen, my parents might come, take me out to dinner, try out a new restaurant. So that's like one of my favorite things to do when they come visit, to try out all the different food spots in Worcester. And yeah, and there's definitely a lot of great options. So I'm really grateful for that.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Michaela, I'm going to transition to you. First of all, Elena, thank you for answering that question. That was a very, very good synopsis about the food scene in Worcester. And I think there's just so much more than anyone even imagines, which I'm so excited to try new things every single week. But Michaela, I'm going to transfer a question to you. This actually comes from our audience. Obviously, like some people like to go on walks outside, and we do have some lovely weather here in Worcester in the spring season and fall, obviously. But are there any good places to, go for walks? Are there nice parks or like trails around the city that you ever experienced?
Yeah, that's a great question. The two trails that come to mind are just because I personally experienced them is there's the nature trail that Holy Cross students call it. It's pretty much right off our campus. So when you get to the bottom of the hill where freshman field is and our softball field, you just have to cross the street. And there's this really lovely path that you can walk. It's like a bridge, and I'm constantly seeing Holy Cross people. Sometimes there's local Worcester residents walking their dog, and so it's right off campus, and it's just this nice bridge area, and it gives you little infographics about the animals and organisms that live in this kind of like forest area, I guess you could call it, this little park. And that's definitely something a lot of Holy Cross students take advantage of. I've done that. Sometimes when you're stressed at school and you just need a breath of fresh air, I'll see a lot of people just go for a walk on the nature trail, which is right off campus, which is really, really wonderful and something I've taken advantage of, even in the snow, just to get off campus and have that kind of like different scenery. So that's the first one that just is in walking distance. This one, not too far from campus, I think maybe like 10 or 15 minutes drive. It's the Purgatory Chasm. That is really, really fun. I remember I went with some friends who went to the Fix, which was what Elena was saying. We had lunch and then we went to the Purgatory Chasm, and basically you just park and it's a bunch of rocks, and so it's kind of fun to navigate, difficult but tricky to navigate, so you can go through that like a little obstacle course, and then it will take you on this nice woods path up to like a slightly elevated surface, not like, it's nothing too strenuous, and you get a really beautiful view, and it's surprising. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm still in the city of Worcester. So it's just like a really quiet escape that I took advantage of with my friends over one of our school breaks, and that was super nice, and like it's kind of fun navigating like the little rocks. It was like a little obstacle course. So those are just the two that I personally experienced and come to mind. But I know that there's many others. I mean, Holy Cross itself has a really wonderful green space. Our Hogan Oval, the Hoval, right outside of our student center, that students will study on or play spike ball or toss a frisbee. So that's definitely something that comes alive during the fall and spring while we're on campus. They have food trucks on Fridays. And so there's a little green space right on campus, and then those trails off campus that are very accessible to students.
Thank you so much, Michaela. That sounds absolutely lovely. And I'm sure it's a great way to get off campus and get active a little bit, even though I'm sure we are all well aware that we are climbing hills every day on our campus. Well, I'm going to turn a question to Elena. I'm curious, this was a question from the Q&A, and I'm sure all of the parents who are watching are also thinking about this. What are the options in terms of, having to go to a doctor for urgent care or going to the hospital? How does that work when you're a student at Holy Cross?
So the great thing about Holy Cross is we do have health services, which is located right on campus. But then also Worcester is kind of an area where there are a lot of great hospitals as well. So kind of first talking about maybe the on-campus, say you have a minor injury or you just start to not feel great, especially now that unfortunately we're living kind of in this global pandemic. Health has become a real big concern for students and something that we just kind of have learned more about through the kind of COVID pandemic. So health services is located right in the bottom level of one of our dorms, Loyola Hall. And so down there's a lot of nurses, doctors who are always kind of on call and in the office there at normal hours. So in addition to going there for COVID testing and different things like that, I actually went last week, just kind of didn't feel well. And they were able to determine whether you had COVID, the flu, sinus infection, those types of things, provide cough drops and different medications as well, and kind of go through health insurance and things like that, whether you're on the Holy Cross plan or not. And so that's just kind of a comfort to have that right there on campus. In addition, we have like trainers who work at our athletic center, and also our wellness center has like bags of ice and things like that. So if there's ever like a muscle strain, those types of injuries, it's definitely very easy and accessible to get in contact with either health services, public safety, or someone through wellness and recreation. And then kind of more off campus, thinking about Worcester area, we have Mass Medical, which is a big hospital in the area. So I would say if there's ever a larger medical emergency, I personally have never had to kind of seek out those sources, but I do know that that's there and very close by. So that would be just a major hospital that people could go to as well, and not too far away. Also, as we had mentioned a little bit before, public safety is a resource on campus. So if you ever didn't feel well or needed to be transported there in some way, we have those numbers programmed into our phone, and you could contact one of those local Worcester police representatives or someone from our local, student resources on campus.
Awesome. Thank you. So I'm going to probably have two more questions for the both of you, just to wrap things up. First, I'm going to ask you what your favorite place in the city is. It can be a coffee shop. It can be a place to study. It can be whatever you think of. What is your favorite place in the city, both of you?
So I would say my favorite place in the city is Polar Park. I know that sounds silly. I know it's brand new. It's so much fun. but when it comes to just like a place to sit and like a place to like go out to dinner with your friends, it's El Patron. It's a local Mexican restaurant in Worcester. Again, maybe 7 to 10 minutes drive, and it is just like, I've made so many memories with my friends there. It's just really, really, really good Mexican food, and I always see Holy Cross students either working there or eating there as well. So just like great memories in those two places.
Yeah, I think my answer actually is also another one of the kind of the new additions. So there's a lot that's happened in the last few years, but I really just love the Worcester Public Market. Personally, I love like crafts and little things like that. So that side of thing really appeals to me. I also love how it's like local Worcester people. So I like supporting like those local businesses. And I absolutely love bubble tea. And that place is by far the best like mango bubble tea that I've had. So Worcester Public Market is always really fun to just kind of poke around in there, see the new things. And then also another place that I really enjoy is it's actually a part of Birch Tree, that bread company, but downstairs they have a little kind of like antique boutique little store called Crompton Collectibles. And so that's just a really another little fun spot to like poke around. I love to shop and just look at little, they have cool stickers and different like local Worcester merch type things. So again, these are kind of Worcester Public Market is definitely newer, but it's one of my favorite places to go and explore.
That's great. I could definitely attest to that answer as well. The Canal District where the Worcester Public Market is located did have a lovely fall stroll. So Crompton Collective, all of the shops in Worcester Public Market, Birch Tree Bread Company, were all doing little giveaways and, half off deals at their locations. And that was just awesome. And it was so great to see, the Worcester community coming out and getting to walk around that neighborhood a little bit. So I also attest that that is probably my favorite place in the city as well. And it was so exciting. But this final question may be a little cheesy, but I am a cheesy person at heart. And someone asked in the Q&A where your favorite place to watch a sunset is. And I think I may know the answer to it already, but if both of you wouldn't mind answering that, I'd love to hear your answers.
I think my favorite place to watch the sunset, well, not directly on campus, affiliated with campus, is the Joyce Contemplative Center. The JCC, it is this beautiful like house hotel, I guess you could say, where the chaplain's office run all of their retreats. And so they'll have retreats for Montserrat, for like first years through Montserrat, that first year seminar that all the students take. They have retreats during our fall breaks and our spring breaks. So like men's retreat, women's retreat, silent retreat, Ignite, which is for underclassmen first and second years. And so there's all these retreats happening through them that students can sign up for. But it is this gorgeous house, and it's in West Boylston, maybe 15 minutes away from campus. You get shuttled there if you choose to participate in a retreat, and it is on this mountain, and all the trees are completely cleared, and like you get a beautiful view of Lake Quinsinemog and the sunset. We always wake up for sunrise, and obviously we're eating dinner as the sun is setting, and it's just floor to ceiling windows like in the dining area, in the little chapel they have, and it's just absolutely stunning because there's nothing obstructing your view. It's like you're elevated, like where the building is, it's like elevated, and so it's just like a complete like beautiful view of the sunset. And that's just like one of my favorite like memories thus far at Holy Cross, is being at the JCC.
Yeah, so a spot that I can think of for actually a beautiful sunrise, so I'm changing the question a little bit, but on campus actually, so right at the very top of our campus behind the Luth Athletic Complex, up on that field up there is like kind of the known spot where you're really at a high elevation and it's a beautiful sunrise. I have a really fond memory, even though it was kind of a sad time when kind of COVID first happened and everyone was being sent home. On the last morning, my friends and I woke up super, super early. I'm definitely not a morning person, but it was definitely worth it to see the sunrise. And we hiked all the way up there and just kind of watched the beautiful sky. And it's really a high elevation. So very similar to the JCC in terms of nothing blocking your vision, a beautiful view, and just a fond memory from my 4 years so far. So that's a favorite spot too.
Awesome. Thank you. That warms my heart. It's a little cheesy, I know, but I think it's a great way to end this webinar. I want to say, first of all, thank you to Michaela and Elena for being our panelists tonight. You had some really, really great answers to our questions. And you also really, I think, encapsulated Worcester in, 35 minutes, which is very hard to do because we are a very big city. But thank you so much. I also want to thank you all for coming out today and spending your Sunday evening with us. You had really great questions. And I'm sorry if we didn't get to any last minute questions. If you do have any questions, feel free to send us an email at admissions@holycross.edu, and we'd be happy to answer any last minute questions that you might have. But that's all for us this evening. And be sure to register for our final webinar in this series, in our fall open house webinar series next weekend on November 14th at 7 p.m. And you can do so on our website as well. Thank you all for joining us and have a great Sunday evening. Bye-bye.